pass your awareness down the body, starting at the head, and let me know if you find anything.
It's the left leg.
Mm-hmm. What else do you notice? Anything other than the left leg?
Yeah, it's still her entire left side a little bit,
Left side, okay.
but it's accumulated in the leg.
Okay. So let's bring your awareness to that left leg, connecting deeply with the energy there in the leg. And as we begin to understand what that energy there is, if you could give that energy a color, what color would that energy be?
Dark gray.
Dark gray. Very good. And if that dark gray energy could speak to us, what would that dark gray energy say?
I don't want to speak.
I don't want to speak. Very good. And so the dark gray energy there in the leg that doesn't want to speak with us, what happened to that energy? How did that energy get there? How did that dark gray energy lose its body?
Can't remember long ago.
What happened long ago?
Okay.
What happened to you? How did you lose your body?
I got killed.
Mm-hmm. Can you remember your name?
Jonathan.
Jonathan, very good. Jonathan, how old are you?
45.
Mm-hmm. Jonathan, can you recall what year it is for you?
1750.
1750? Very good. Jonathan, how is it that you died? How were you killed? Can you recall that?
And
You were hanged. And so, Jonathan, as you left your body, as your soul disconnected from your body after you were hanged, did you notice if there was a light around you? Did you see that light?
yeah, I didn't understand.
Mm-hmm. You weren't sure what to do?
Just scared.
Yes. How is it that you found Daniela? How old was she at the time that you found her?
She was in her 20s.
What was she going through in her life that allowed you to attach to her?
Yeah. She was struggling with her abuse, not to speak about it. Keep it buried. And she got sick. She had this blood clot. But she was such a bright light. I remember the light. So I came in.
And so, as you've been there with Daniela for quite a while, what are some of the issues that you've been causing her to experience in her life?
I give her the feeling of fear she has whenever she speaks up. Even though she ignores it, but nevertheless it's there. It's my fear. And I think I think I let her leg heal, but I don't mean to do that.
Mm.
It's just I think take up space. The leg cannot heal.
Very good. Jonathan, are you ready to go home and back to the light so that you can have a new experience and not be trapped in Daniela's legs anymore? We can help you with that today.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
good. You're ready to go home. Very good. Jonathan, I want you to look around and you're going to notice a beautiful, bright white light. Tell me when you see that light.
It's there all along. I saw it all along. Didn't know.
Yes. Tell me who's waiting there for you, Jonathan. Who's waiting to assist you home?
Michael, Archangel Michael.
Beautiful. So we're going to ask Archangel Michael to assist us today. And I want you to look inside your chest and you're going to find a beautiful spark of light. Tell me when you see it.
Yes.
Very good. And we're going to ask Archangel Michael to assist us in expanding that beautiful light, making it bigger and brighter. Put all of your attention there, expanding it out. And as that energy expands, we're going to release all of the fear, all of the pain that you experienced in that life, where your life was taken and you were hung. Just releasing all of that energy, healing that physical body completely, bringing it into your neck and healing those wounds. And as that energy expands, Jonathan, tell me how that feels.
Great. Yeah, I'm sorry. I've been there.
Very good. Daniela, can you forgive this soul for being attached to you for so long?
Yes.
Very good. Jonathan, before you go, I'm going to, in just a moment, have Archangel Michael assist you with detaching your energy. But could you take a look in Daniela's body and just let me know if you see any other energies, any other souls in there with you?
No.
Very good. Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate your help. So I'd like to ask Archangel Michael to step forward and assist this soul in detaching completely from Daniela's legs. Jonathan, I'd like you to begin to pull all of your energy out, pulling all of your energy out from her legs. completely detaching your energy. Daniela, just feeling that energy completely release from your physical body, asking Archangel Michael to assist this energy in completely releasing. Let me know when you feel that energy is completely released from the legs. Okay. Asking Archangel Michael to escort this soul back to the light. And we send you with so much love for the next part of your journey. And so, Daniela, let's begin to fill up that space with a beautiful healing energy. What color would you like to use?
Pink.
Beautiful. Asking the angels and the guides that are with us today to begin to assist Daniela in flowing beautiful, bright pink energy, vibrant, high frequency pink energy in the area where Jonathan was attached, completely filling up all spaces where that energy was taking up space within the physical body and the energetic fields. As that energy flows into the legs, we want to bring that beautiful energy in to the chakras, bringing it up through those lower 3 chakras, asking the guides to assist us in rebalancing the chakras. Anywhere that energy was being siphoned off by this soul, focusing it on the solar plexus, expanding that energy out in the solar plexus, releasing any residue that may be left from this energy, asking Archangel Michael to cut any cords or connections to this soul.
Yeah, also in the neck. There's
Okay.
also energy in the neck.
Very good. And we'll ask the guides to close any portals in that space that we were working on that might have allowed those energies to come in. So let's focus in there on the neck. As you connect in with that energy, does that also feel like a consciousness there? Can that energy speak with us? What does that energy want us to know?
I think it's just, it has to be aligned again because of
Aligned.
the hanging experience of the soul.
Very good. So let's bring that beautiful pink energy up and let's wrap it around the neck. Just allowing that energy to flow in. And as it flows in, it is healing that experience that Jonathan had in his lifetime. Feel that energy just soothe and coat that throat area, asking your higher self and Archangel Michael to realign those energies. Tell me what you feel or what you notice.
Yeah, it's quite some time it was out of alignment. It takes a little work.
Mm-hmm. Just continue to allow those energies to flow in with the intention.
Some blue light. I need
Beautiful, beautiful. Flow in that beautiful blue light, expanding it out in that throat chakra, balancing and aligning that energy center. Asking the guides to amplify and expand that energy.
Yes, it's healed.
Very good. Very good. And so, as you scan one more time throughout the body, is there anything else that stands out to you?
We can sense some healing energy. She has a little inflammation in her teeth. Get some healing energy through her body.
Beautiful. Did you say you can sense you're receiving
Yeah,
that? Or
I
okay.
sent.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
She has to remember she can do that herself all the time.
Mm.
She doesn't really need us for that.
So tell her a little bit more about that. What does she need to do to bring that healing energy in?
It's all intention. You have to be aware of it. And either in your meditative state or when you do Qigong, just send some healing. I mean, Qigong is healing already, so just intensify with intent. Do Qigong more with intent. Not just exercise. To use your intention.
So when we're trying to heal our body through energy and our intention, how do we know how often we have to continue to do it? I mean, obviously, till it's healed, but what would you recommend? Do we focus on it multiple times a day, once a day? It's the best way to do that.
Trust your instinct as long as it's needed. It can be longer than you have the feeling you are healed or you don't feel the symptoms anymore. Just keep doing it a little bit longer. Check in, we guide you. Especially her because she's fast. So in her case, it's always longer than she thinks it is. We can tell her. But trust your instincts. You get the info, but we need your intention because it's free will. We cannot do that for you. You have to ask for it or give the intention. Both is actually. You can ask us to assist. That covers already your intention and your allowance.
Very good. So she was also wanting some additional healing for her circulation. Can you give us a little information about what's happening with her circulation?
It's getting there, but again, she needs to do a little bit more. She also has to move more. I know she didn't want to go out lately. She started walking again. Doesn't need much time, but Qigong is energy work, but she needs to exercise her physical body. She doesn't want to go out and do some energy or some exercise, like start with yoga again or Pilates you liked. That's great, do that. But you have to exercise the body more.
Very good. So let's do one more scan of the body and just see if there's any additional healing at this time that she needs for her circulation or anything else that stands out that we need to take a look at. Let me know what you find.
Tell me I'm good to go. I think they mean it literally, to go.
Very good. And in a moment, I'm going to count backwards from 3 to 1. And as I count backwards from 3 to 1, I want you to feel yourself being pulled through time and space as if by a magnet to another lifetime on your soul tree that you need to see today. As I count backwards from 3 to 1, you will be there. 3, traveling through time and space, through your soul branch, and looking for the most perfect lifetime to visit today. 2, almost there. And 1, be there now. And tell me what you see or feel or sense around you. What are the first things that you notice as you look around in this place?
I get shown dark. I'm struggling with that.
You don't see anything around you?
Because I'm fighting it.
Why are you fighting it?
Guess it's a tough life.
Just allow yourself to observe. Just allow yourself to observe so that we can understand what it is that you need to know. Tell me what you see or what you sense about this lifetime.
I don't know. I feel young and I
Mhm.
feel I'm in a dungeon. I don't know. It's dark around me. I can't see much.
Mhm.
I'm very cold.
Very cold. And so I want you to imagine just for a moment pouring white light over this scene in this dungeon or in this dark place. And as you bring in the white light of Source, it begins to illuminate more of the scene around you so that you can understand where you are and what you need to know. Tell me a little bit more about yourself. You said you felt young. Does an age come to mind?
Yeah. 17.
17.
17, 18, 17, something like
Mm-hmm.
that.
And as you focus in on your body in this place, do you feel male or female?
I'm female.
Female.
Mhm.
Do you notice what you're wearing on your body?
Some rags. I cannot really say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm here. It's very confusing.
Yes. So as you look around the space that you are in, tell me a little bit more about what you see or what you notice.
Bucket in the corner. Guess where? It's to go to the bathroom. I have to take that bucket. That's what I see. It's the ground is earth, and this earth, there's no concrete or stones. It's earth.
The floor is made out of earth.
Yeah, it's almost like stone. But it's not. It's earth. It's
Mm.
dirt, and it's see bars, very thick, very. The bars are very wide. They are not wide that you can go through, but they are. Yeah, it's like the metal is flat of the bars, and there's a little opening in the ground. guess for the food, I don't know. I don't even feel hungry, I just feel so cold.
Mm.
And I don't know why I'm here.
Do you feel in this place that it's just you, or do you feel that there's others that are around you?
No, I feel totally alone here.
Mm.
Oh, there's no sunlight, nothing, no window,
So
nothing.
let's begin to tap even more deeply into your inner knowing and your inner awareness, just strengthening that ability to understand why you are in this situation, why you were placed here in this space, in this dungeon. And as you tap even more deeply into the energy of this scene, what do you imagine is the reason that you're there?
They said I stole something, but I was hungry. I think it was an apple or so. They threw me here because of that. Yeah, I guess.
So, as you're there in this place, tell me some of the feelings or the emotions that you're experiencing right now.
I'm very anxious, confused. I want to get out, but there's not somebody there that I can call to. Oh, somebody's coming.
Mm.
Okay,
Who is that that's coming?
it's a card. He opens. I'm afraid.
Tell me what happens next.
Me and drags me out. I can hardly walk. It drags me out. I'm blinded by the sun. I cannot see. Are they gonna kill me? I don't know what's going on. I cannot see anything. It
Mm.
just keeps dragging me. My eyes have to adjust to the sunlight.
So, just allow yourself to move forward a little bit in this scene, and let's find out where this guard is taking you. Be there now. Tell me what happens next.
Oh, he released me. He kicked me out of that dungeon. He released me.
Mm.
I'm free. I don't know why I'm free. I don't know why I was there. I keep shuffling along.
How do you feel now that you've been released?
Well, I'm just glad I'm out of there, but I don't understand this. How can this even happen that they put you in because of this little thing?
So, just allow yourself to begin to understand from a wider perspective. Why is it at this time that something as small as stealing an apple would end you up in a place like this? What are the guards thinking? What are they being told to do?
Doesn't really matter. It's just setting examples for the rest of the population.
Mm.
They all have to be in fear. Even if she wouldn't have stolen, she was a beggar. And it was reason enough to take her. It's an example that they can take you anywhere, anytime. So you're never safe.
And so, what is it that she needs to know or understand about this experience? How is it connected to her current life?
That all of us had lives like this when we bring this memory of confusion, not feeling safe. Anything can happen from whatever. We bring that in this lifetime. Even though times changed, it's important to understand that lives like this, and even not with a happy ending like this one, are embedded in your memory. You bring them with you in this lifetime, and even though there is a veil, it bleeds through, and situation comes up that reminds you of what happened to you in these lifetimes. And it makes you tense up again and feeling unsafe, feeling confused, keeps you in a state of fear and makes you more susceptible to control from outside. But it's also an illusion, but because of these memories, it seems so real to you.
So, how is it that we can disconnect from the energy or the memories of these other lifetimes that are affecting us?
Only by going inside. You won't find it on the outside. On the outside, it's just a temporary. You can lock yourself in the house if you're afraid of everything. You can buy weapons, but this is only a temporary relief. It doesn't go to the root. You have to go inside. You have to be aware. You have to know. Humanity has to know. That's the most important task. That it's not the only lifetime they are living right now. That's very important to recognize if you want to grow as a species, if you want to push your evolution forward. And it's not only incarnation. You have to be aware of multiple lives at the same time. You don't have to remember them all at all times, but you have to be aware. And awareness is the first step. And then you have to use your mind. Protect yourself. And either meditate, or you take deep breaths, or you take a walk in nature. Connect to this planet you are on. This is Earth for you right now, in this lifetime. Remind yourself, touch a tree, sit at this bench in this garden. Even if you only sit at it in imagination, and remind yourself, this is your Earth. She is your mother. She protects you. You don't need no guns. You don't need to lock yourself in. You just have to trust your intuition and follow her guidance. Connect to your planet. She sustains you. She loves you. She wants to grow together with you. This would be her biggest joy.
And so, in these sessions, when we are tapping into the energy of the lifetime that we were just looking at, is there a way for us to completely shift that experience through healing work or just through even understanding that it was one of our multidimensional experiences? Can we heal that or change that experience? Is that necessary?
Your life on this planet wouldn't be long enough to heal every single one. It's not necessary, but understand, for you in this lifetime, it can be healed because it's a different story. You have a different life here. You can take what benefits you. You can take the light. You can take the strength of parallel lives. And of course, you also take the shadows, because also this experience here is not an easy one. But know you have many lifetimes that are in higher dimensions, where love is the rule, where it's societies that are governed by love and nothing else. You have many of these lives as well, so you can draw from that. But you will draw from those lifetimes, of course, because here is very dense on Earth. So you draw from lifetimes that are also dense. And that's why those feelings of confusion, of fear, bleed, let's say, easier through and from higher dimensions. So you have to make an effort here. And it seems sometimes like really hard work. You have to make an effort to clear from this life as much as possible. Then the bleed through from other lives, parallel lives, or lives you lived in your linear time before or after, will also stop, because there's no frequency match anymore. And you do the same in the other worlds. So you work hard all around. I wish I could give you an easier answer, but it's getting easier. It's just you are at the cusp right now here, where there's really a big push forward. And it's like, imagine all of you in front of this gigantic rock that's round, but not entirely. And you want to roll it. You rolled it already up the hill, but now you want to push it over the edge so it gets smashed, it's falling away. And this last push is the hardest, because you're already tired. You already did so much, you think. And now it's getting so hard. Why, you ask? But no, it's the last push you're working on. And from then, it's getting much easier. At one point, so easy that you will complain. It's so easy. No, you will not complain. It's joking. You will not complain, but it's getting faster and easier. And this will just be a faint memory at one point. But this is the last push. It takes all of you. I know. Some of you are, quote unquote, working harder than others. It's just because you know and you have the knowledge to do that. Awareness, let's put it that way. But all are pushing on that rock forward, even those who are not consciously aware of it. And it, the more I'm aware of they're pushing something, the easier it gets. But the frontliners have the hardest part. That's how it is. But
So
it's coming.
when you say this is the final push, we hear things similar to that, but many of us feel like it's just dragging on and taking forever.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Everybody
Look,
wants to know, how much further do we have to keep pushing this rock to get it over that hill?
I know there are so many dates out there, so I don't want to give you another one, but
Yes.
because then you are frustrated and then you stop believing that you are really pushing. You think, this is all, it's not right, real.
Yes, yes.
But there are so many fractals us involved, and they all have free will. So of course some are tired of pushing, so they stop pushing, so they take 2 steps back and to look, what is this in front of me? Oh my goodness, I cannot even see over it. So and they step even further back. And of course it gets harder than for those who push, because one, and not only one, many do that, they are missing in the energy forwards. So you're doing the hardest part here, even though you have what's often said, the privilege of witnessing this beginning. It began already hundreds of years ago, but you feel, okay, you're making a difference. I think you are the first ones who really have this privilege to see that. So you feel blessed. On the other hand, you feel also frustrated because you're doing the hardest job here. It started hundreds of years ago, but it started so gradually that it was only noticeable by a few, let's say. And now it became to that point where the momentum is so great that you will push this stone over the precipice. And you have to do it slow. Just imagine if you rush that stone over, you might fall along with the stone. So you have to push it gradually, and it's hard work. It's literally physical sometimes. It's physical. We are in a physical dimension. But you also push with your consciousness. And even your consciousness can get tired, believe it or not. But what is the option? What is the alternative? You came so far. You want to fall back to this lifetime, sitting in a dungeon for stealing an apple or taking an apple? You don't want to fall back there. You lived through that already. You don't need to do that again. You want to move forward. Push on a little bit and don't get frustrated. I can promise you, you will experience it in this lifetime. That I can say. The date is up to you. If all of you work together now, tomorrow everything is different. It becomes a momentum. You see that. It gets momentum also in your world, in your real world. Things are changing. Things are coming up that you always knew were there. You suspected them maybe. You did not know, but you suspected. And now they're in the open. It's a lot. So many things come up, I understand. But otherwise, you would not have given up your comfy seat. You already learned for so many generations to deal with the fear, with the unloving ways around you. Maybe not of your immediate circle, but the governments, you were conditioned in accepting so much. The good news is it's getting faster to dismantle everything than to build up. So you might notice from experience to destroy something is easier than to build something. Persevere, don't get frustrated. Look in yourself, that's so important, because once your own shadows are dealt with, you clear the air, you clear the space, you clear the line in front of you. This helps push the stone in a little bit further. Never believe that your little life cannot change anything. That is how you're kept under control. That's how you're kept in submission. With feeling little, small, insignificant. You don't need power in this world, and you don't need money. Look where that got you. Made you corrupt. Money can do good. Money is not the evil here. The system, that's how it's used. But you let that happen, you did it too. Remember, nothing is really from the outside, it's always you. When you really understand that, then it's game over for everybody who wants to control this planet. You have to understand, in the end, it's only you having this human experience, wanting to know how it is, how you can thrive under so much pressure. And you can, despite all this, what was thrown against you. You still have your connection to Source. Even if it's dim for some of you who chose the other way, it's still there. Know this, even if you chose the darker path, you're always in service of Source. You might not want to hear that. And you try to carve out your own God. But whoever your God is, he's also part of Source. Connect to this light inside of you. Not through religion. Religion wants to control you as well. You don't need religion to connect to Source, remember.
Beautiful. So we have so many things that are coming to the surface now, and the energy is shifting, and we're all pushing that boulder. What can you share with us about what we can expect possibly throughout the remainder of this year? I know things are always shifting and it's based on us, but is there anything that you can bring forward? Any major changes or shifts in the energy that you can see?
I mean, there is always the possibility that the new golden age is coming in instantly, but from experience, it's not gonna happen. I think all of you notice it's already getting easier without really understanding why you feel like that. Because there are mandates and crazy laws looming all over the planet. But it seems there is a new hopefulness taking hold of you. And you don't trust it because you want to see fast and instant changes. I can only say it's gonna get a little crazier before it's really getting better. You're not fully there yet. That's why it's so important, and we give this message so often, to keep pushing forward no matter what. You have to trust yourself that you know what you know. Connect to like-minded souls. Find them. If you cannot find them in person, find them online. I see there is more push that people leave the cities. People want to leave the cities. They start realizing that this is not freedom. Living in the city is the opposite of freedom. That you're just duped by all this amenities you have theater, museum, you can go to restaurants. It's just to make you complacent. Real freedom is going wherever you want to go without any strings attached, no bills to pay. You give up so much when you move to a city, just for some comfort, you think. So there, I see more people are leaving the cities. um, More what do you call natural disasters? The earth is shaking. Volcanoes.
Can you speak about that a little bit? I know there's been some major volcanic eruptions lately. Is there a significance of those eruptions to the shift? Are they
Yes.
just part of? Tell us a little bit about that.
It's Gaia is ascending. That means she is expanding. It's also translated into her physical body. She knows she has a responsibility because there are many, many beings dependent on her. So she has to be careful with her expansion insofar that she gets a lot of assistance from other dimensions, from other beings, from different realms. Otherwise, it would be devastation on Earth because it's very populated where she wants to stretch. So it's all rather toned down. It will take a little longer, but she agreed to that to keep you safe. But it cannot always be because a little hiccup for her is still a natural disaster for you. So we gave warnings that you should stay away from these areas. All volcanoes are still active, even if they haven't been in many, many years or decades. They all have the potential to erupt, and they will, because she needs to stretch. And she doesn't want to open new places. So all these things that are known to mankind, where volcanoes are, you have to move away a little bit from those areas. You know, move inwards from the coastlines. Because there are a lot of eruptions also under the oceans. Many volcanoes are under the oceans. And I don't see a flood, but some tidal waves can wreak some havoc. So
For those that are living in those areas, not to put any fear into anyone, but how do they know when it's time for them to either move away or just get to some safety?
it's always the same answer. If you connect it to yourself, you will know. She's living in New York City that saw a hurricane, which was very uncommon for New York City. And people died. They lost everything, or they lost a lot in this hurricane, who lived directly at the beaches. And for others, like for herself, for instance, she did not even, well, it was a strong wind, but no damage in the neighborhood. Not even a tree was uprooted where she lived. So even though people live in the same zone, in the same city, everyone had a different experience. She was always aware she would never move to places. That's why she never considered California, for instance, because of the San Andrea carbon. I don't know the English word. San Andrea.
Mm-hmm.
She never moved to Florida because of the hurricanes. Then she experienced it anyway. But as I said, it was not a hurricane. So if you know these things and you decide to move back in and still build at the very same spot that was washed away in a hurricane, people have to get more in touch with nature again. Remember the Native Americans, where they said they knew this because they were in touch with nature. They listened to animals who warned them of impending earthquakes. They knew just by looking how a bird flies what he's telling them. This is no miracle. This is just being in tune with your planet. The city, many of you lost that. If you want to go to a park, lean against a tree. Talk to this tree. This tree talks to you. Even if you don't believe it, even if you think, I'm making it up, it doesn't matter. You have to practice these things again as you lost them. It's like a muscle that you don't train. You have to train that. You have to listen to your inner guidance. So nobody has to be afraid. Even if a big flood would come over the whole planet, you still are not in fear. Remember, you are not this body. So there is no flood coming, but I'm just saying, you have to shed the fear. The fear keeps you from seeing things that are normally you would see without even a second thought. If you go in fear and panic, you can, the only thing you can do, you can run away from the tiger who is standing in front of you. But how many of you faced ever a tiger in their lifetime? Fear and panic is what you are living in, and you don't even realize it anymore on a regular basis. Your body is constant in flight or fight.
When we first started this session, We found a lost soul that was attached. And one of the issues that the soul said he was causing Daniela was to create fear within her. So, as we're trying to shed our own fears, can you explain how a person who might have these attachments to them and they're experiencing fear from another being, how do we work with that? It feels like an uphill battle with all of that going on.
Yes, he brought his fear with him and amplified it. It would not have been felt if she wouldn't have had an experience in this lifetime where she felt similar fear. For instance, for her, she stood up against her authoritarian father, and she always had fear, but she stood up nevertheless. But it was always extreme fear. So that's why the fear of this soul that attached amplified that feeling for her that was already there. If you're a fearless person right from the beginning, this could not have had any effect. So as much as you help these souls, if you are aware of them, to find back to source, as much they help you by amplifying feelings that are already there, or memories that are already there in this body and from this lifetime, sometimes even from others, but let's stick, for the sake of simplicity, this lifetime. So he basically also helped you to see that.
Is it always a choice to come into this life to experience these attachments? Are we helping them as much as they can help us?
Yes, but be also aware that you might not have agreed before coming into every single one attachment. You come not in with 50 contracts or whatever,
Right.
It's just a number. It doesn't mean you have 50 attachments. Some have
Yes.
more than that, and some have by far less.
Mm-hmm.
But that you have attachments, you're living in a dense planet, is you are not aware of even an aura. You even think if somebody speaks about an aura, this is mumbo jumbo. Maybe not today anymore so much, but as this being grew up, this was considered, my goodness, woo-woo. You're not even aware of that, so you don't even know how to protect yourself. You can be protected by just your intention, by your pure innocence, by the goodness you follow inside of you. Makes you already somewhat protected, let's say that. But it's almost certain that you have attachments in this lifetime. First of all, you come in. I think she told you that already through us. You come in to this life. Also for the fun of it, I don't want to diminish that, but for service for others.
Yes.
You come in service. So you want that. So that is basically the contract. You want to help the planet clear. You want to help the people to move on so they can expand. Because so many souls, I have no number at the moment, are trapped in this plane. So many. Cannot find out. And it's not even an incarnational trap. It's they don't see the light. They don't know what it is. They forgot. They wander around. Many angels are here on this planet and heal, set up stations, something like hospitals, you would call them, for souls to heal, who get out of this lifetime and have no understanding. They don't believe. They think it's the only life they ever have and they ever got, and then realize, oh, I'm still here. What's going on? And I lost. I attached to family members who grieve for them. It's it would be here very long just to explain all of that. It's a multitude of why you can get trapped. But these souls, they try. And they have no time. For them is no time. They are outside of space and time. And that's why they wander since eons of times. And find a host, find a light. They think they go to the light, but they just attach to another light, which is a person.
Are these souls ever able to find their way back into the light on their own, or does it always require the help of a human to assist them in that? Are they trapped until someone helps them see that they're here?
If the longer you are trapped, the less you can find your way. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Because the confusion is too big then. And there are a lot of factors. There's a lot of entities that feed off that soul. So it's really, you could say it's a muck, a yucky muck.
It is.
And so that's why it's very, very important when souls come in and they volunteer. They may be not earthbound. And even they can get trapped because the veil is the requirement for that will change, but for now it's like that. But they are less likely to get trapped because they come in with such a strong light. And usually these people have more attachments than maybe an earthbound soul, because they're like magnets for those lost souls. And that's why it's very important for all the starseeds and envoys that are here, and whatever their name is for them, they have to learn to protect themselves.
So
Whatever is.
I'm sorry. That you mean those who identify as light workers and star seeds that have the brighter light? We're more of an attractor of those?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's also on purpose. It's like, on purpose you're the magnet because you want to harvest them. But of course, if you're not awake enough, or if you're not aware enough, then you're having a hard time, which many of us have. Mm-hmm. So, but you see, you eventually wake up and you start the healing work. You start first with this lifetime, with your ancestors. You start healing this line before you even get aware of attachments. And once you get aware of attachments, you can start healing that. But then, once you healed your attachments, don't think you have to be a magnet indefinitely and you can just suck them in again. I would not recommend that, because you cannot really be drained, but it would give you a feeling it's overwhelming and too much. So you have to start protecting yourself, and intention is all. You can do an energy bubble, or you can be in your Merkaba, whatever works for you, but intention is enough. That you say no. The most important words on earth right now, N-O, no. No. You have to learn to say that also to spirits. You can help them differently. You can help them as a facilitator by removing them from other entities. But at one point you can be cleared of them and without guilt and say, okay, I did what I could. Eventually They all go to the light. It just takes time. But as there is no time and space, so don't feel too bad for them because they have not really an awareness of time. As you saw today, Jonathan had the feeling it's 1750.
Mm-hmm.
So for him, no time really passed. You have to shed this linear thinking of time. This will also be necessary for the future. You have to think more in terms of now is really, this is the hardest part for you, I think.
I feel like it's a very difficult concept that I have tried to grasp myself, and even understanding these lifetimes that we look at are all happening now. It's so difficult to figure out, how does that even work? How is that possible?
Because there is no space.
Okay.
Space is just to help you figure out what it means when you go from one spot to another. But there is no in between. It's just an illusion that you went from one spot to the other. You did not even move, but you want to feel it that way. So that's why, again, you are the master. You make it that way happen. Once you hit the higher dimensions, you don't need spaceships anymore to travel from planet to planet. You are omnipresent. You think you want to be there, and you are there. And you create your spaceship there for the benefit of others. So they understand that you're not just standing there and suspended in air. If you want to show them a body, you're not even the body, but you understand? So there is no space. So when there is no space, then there is no time, because no time elapsed. This is just a construct that you set up to experience these things. You are everywhere, wherever you want at the same time. But where is the fun in that? So you're going, you also are so obsessed with the fifth dimension. We are going into fifth dimension.
We're in multiple dimensions, aren't we already?
Now you can go actually back to source if you wanted to, but no, let's play. So we're going to the fifth, but why not going to the eighth? You could go to the eighth dimension, no problem. Now we are going, okay, let's go all to the fifth, no problem either. But it's funny, no? This is again linear, because after 3 comes 4 and then 5th. We jump over 4, that we accepted already. I mean, we are in 4, but whatever. Now let's go to 5th, because it comes after 4. No, 8 is there too. 12 is there. Go there. But as I said, it has to go gradually, because otherwise you're already overwhelmed with what is there. And I cannot give you any hope it's getting easier. It's getting more overwhelming stuff. But that's why it's so important to connect to yourself, to keep calm, to keep in the eye of the storm. It's very easy when you're connected. Only when you fall back into the old 3D matrix thinking, then you get panicked. Oh my God. And then everything is, you have to calm yourself. And once you're calm, you see a different picture. And that helps others too. When they see your calmness, they can calm down too. Might take them a while, but they calm down. So you have to be this. You have to be this beacon of light. You have to. You're volunteered. I cannot help you with this.
You chose it.
I know you think, yeah, it's easy to say. I didn't sign up for it. You will know. If you go deep inside, you know. This one was very long angry with sores, with me. They were so angry. I know, I just play all that just for your benefit, so you know how that feels, because you cannot come down here. Yeah, it's the truth. We don't disagree, but you are us too. You wanted it too. You wanted just the full frontal of it, and you volunteered. And it's okay. It's gonna get easier. You will enjoy. I can promise you that you will enjoy. It's not always as tough as it is. And you did not do so much hard work until recently, so see it that way. Now now it's important. Now it really counts. You have to push through. You had a long time to play. So push through this level, and then you can play again in an entirely different field. And you will not miss anything of the old world, believe us. It will fade out of your memory, distant memory. And at one point you might think it was always like wonderful like that. But until then, there's still much work to do. Clear your own shadows. Don't be afraid to look at them. They are only scary when you don't look at them. That's what they count on. Once you face your fear, you look it in the eye, you will realize it's just a tiny, tiny, tiny thing you were afraid of. There's nothing that cannot be healed. Whatever you think you did in this lifetime can be forgiven. It has to be forgiven from yourself first. God forgave you before you even did it. So don't worry about that. It's your game. You can play it. But remember, you play it. You made the rules. So it's you who can change them.
Beautiful. Talk to us a little bit about some of the changes that our physical bodies are going through. I noticed just over maybe the last month, so many around me and light workers in the community have all been sick. Are these upgrades that our systems are going through, or are we just simply passing things around? What's going on with the body changes?
Again, it's a multitude of factors. Yes, it's true. There's much more light coming in that you have experienced in your lifetimes. And where light comes, darkness is fleeing. So this is also true for your personal lives. There are so many shadows still lurking in the corners that you are not even aware of. They're very good at hiding. But with this light that's coming in, there is no hiding possible anymore. And that's why shadows come up that you thought were not even there, or thought you had already looked at. And you go through it again and it makes you tired. Oh my God, I did already all the work, and let's again. Yes. But it's the final push, so no worries. It's like the last 3 push for the mothers of you before the baby comes. Just ride the wave. Not too much worrying involved. Ride the waves. Listen to the bodies, what they need. Everybody needs different things. Some needs less food, some needs a different food, some needs no food. I think a lot of us were fasting because the body needs all the energy to integrate the light, the extra light. So it's an upgrade. It's an upgrade of every single cell. So also, of course, of the DNA then. And our bodies have to change for the new earth, meaning the new energetic signature of this earth. That's all it is. This earth is still the same that you see now. Well, it will look a little bit different, but it's still the same planet. But the signature is a little different. The frequencies are different. So if you want to keep your bodies, and many of the light workers want to keep them, then they have to adapt and they have to change. And this is like birthing. It doesn't have to be an extremely painful process, but it comes with a little pain. But it's a good pain, remember, you're birthing. And you will love this baby that comes with it. And of course, there's also the darkness pushing. You can never forget we're still living in a duality here. So the darkness is not sleeping. They are pushing too. They know the same thing, of course, than the light side does. They know their time is over, that they have to move on to different places. But the darkness never could leave gracefully. That's not who they are. So they keep pushing as much as they can to slow you down with your boulder, with your stone. They also know it's to no avail. But they're also playing their little game. They also want to have fun. If you could see it from a higher perspective, you would find it rather funny. Because it's a tug of war, but the light already is only holding with one arm this rope because it's a done deal. It's easy. You just let them tug a little bit. They also want to play. You have to start seeing through it. Takes a little bit fun out of the game, but also fear, and that's important. Most important feat is to shed the fear. You have to shed the fear. Fear is even the biggest illusion. It's an incredible emotion that's not even original, that is created by you guys. Fear is not known in our realms. It's not known. So sometimes we have a hard time here understanding. We just see the effects of it, but we have a hard time understanding this feeling of fear.
And can you tell me who I'm speaking with right now?
Yeah, Metatron.
Yes, I thought so. I thought so. Can you tell us what realm or what dimension, I'm not sure if that's even right, that you exist in?
It's above that.
All the way up, isn't it?
It's not a hierarchy in your sense. It's outside of it.
Okay.
It's because I'm not created by you guys. Created directly by Source. You create this own game, which is fun to watch. But we have to help it down a little bit. So it really keeps going a fun game. So it's all good. And you're all this me too. I am source. I'm just a fractal that he can send out. She. I don't know what to say in your language. There's no word. But it's not female or male, you know that. I'm not female or male. It's just we have certain preferences, and this is translated in your density as male or female. But it's not. This is not how we think. It's not how you will think once you shed that body either.
Is Daniela's connection to the angelics, is that through you? Or does she have another connection you can share with her?
It's because she's my child. And she's original soul fractal. I am an original soul fractal. And she is, again, she's our asset. We send her wherever she's needed. She's living very many, many lives at the same time. But always on a mission. Never for fun. She has to learn to have a little bit more fun with it. We're afraid she's wearing out otherwise. In this lifetime, she's funny, but she's taking it still a little too serious.
She said she thinks you and her team are probably always laughing at her a little bit.
Yeah, she's highly entertaining. Even in the times when she didn't really believe we were there, she was still talking to us. I said, oh my God, she's not believing it, but she's still complaining all the time. And then we show her something, and then she's freaked out. And so we don't show her too much. Now we show her a little bit more because she can handle it. But she was always complaining. She always felt she was like Thomas, who was following Jesus, who never believed anything. She's a little bit like that, the energy. Always needed proof. And we didn't show her much. She had a few things, but unnoticed. But we had to give her a few markers. So when she woke up, that she did not really think she's going crazy. So we had to give her a few markers. But basically, she was considered very eccentric because even to herself, she always thought she's such an eccentric mind, believing all these things that there is no real proof for, and other things that are obviously there, never believing them. She could never really wrap her mind around. She thought like that. I think now she starts understanding more and more. So we can give her more and more. She has to integrate it. So she's not really going crazy because it's a lot. And we are very pleased that she already accepted, because we did not know if she accepts that she's an angel.
Mm-hmm.
She would not have accepted that, even though she always knew that she's very good and she always wanted to do good with, of course, more or less success. But she always had this in her and couldn't understand why other people didn't feel the same way. But she was pretty isolated, and it was necessary because there's a lot of power involved in that, and to learn to handle that first. So we can give her now more understanding. And she's accepting now that she has a legion of angels for her, working with her at her disposal, whatever she wants. So she knows there's nothing she cannot tackle. And she felt that in her lifetime. She always said, I know I only get what I can handle. Not less, unfortunately, but also not more. She had understanding of that. And she had, it was easier for her to accept that than being Queen Victoria. That really pushed her over the edge.
Tell her a little bit about that. Why was it important for her to see that lifetime?
Yeah, we took her by surprise. So we like that. She likes surprises. So she did not expect that. And it was good because she was basically a blank slate. So we could bring her that. And also her ego is tamed enough already that we could bring her that in. Because it's more difficult and can disturb you more because you're still a human in the first place. You're connected to the earth, and to be this important figure, though she didn't know much about her, but she knew she was an empress. Really, she didn't want to accept that, but we convinced her, we told her she has to believe that because it's important. It gives her a better understanding about herself. And it did once she got over that and this sadness, and it was more sadness actually than joy. We thought she will be happy, but she was more sad the first couple of days. But then she started understanding deeper, and we told her that it was necessary to see it doesn't matter, because she kept complaining, not once. She kept complaining over years. Why am I not more important? Why am I not a leader of some sort? I could do so much good. She was dreaming of having all these millions at her disposal. And what she did, sometimes she just sat down and just dreamed what she can do with all the money, which organization she should help and who she should help. She got always anxious because she said, oh my God, so many organizations, how will I have enough money for all of them? So she was already the imaginary spending money that she did not even have yet. And she complained and complained. And that night was time to show her that no matter who you were or are, it's always you. Whether you bake cookies or you are Queen Victoria and rule over some people, it's the same light inside, same essence. And you just chose the life that's more appropriate for the time you go in. And she saw that. She watched everything she could about Victoria, so to learn more, to read, she read books. And a lot of things in her life made sense. Why she was born where she was born, why she was feeling like she was feeling. Because she realized, she experienced how it is when you leave your body and go into another one, that it's still you. Because you are neither the Queen Victoria nor you are the baker. You are you. And there is no name for you. Because you have so many. You are all. And you are none at the same time. You have a certain frequency signature that only you have, that is recognized by every single other fractal of Source. And Source knows all of you. Now wrap your mind about that, around that.
Mm. Very good. So she was wondering about an experience that she just had with her daughter and the vaccines that were needed for school. What does she need to know about that experience?
Yeah, she feels lost the battle. But she also didn't really want to fight it anymore because it seemed so old energy to her. She didn't even want to engage in it. But she did, and took her daughter out of school. And then she had this guilt that she decides on her behalf. And her daughter would not. She gave her the option that she can go and get the vaccine. She can call her father and he will walk with her and give her the vaccine. She just didn't want to be the one. And the daughter didn't want to. So she was going through it for some weeks. And she kept asking us, and we kept telling her she has to be patient. She doesn't know all the info. And she kept calm and found a way that her daughter could hand in schoolwork. I think she learned a lot in the course of that to fight the system with the same means is not really, I don't say it's impossible, but it's very unlikely that you succeed. And it costs you a lot. A lot of your energy is drained in the course of that. The system is set up in a way that it has almost no chink in the armor. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If you fight it with the same, because she called a lawyer and all of that, and she was refused. The lawyer did not even want to speak to her about that. So she had to realize that she cannot fight it with the same, because she often was thinking, should I go out? Should I walk on the street? Should I demonstrate? And we don't say you shouldn't do it if you feel called to do that, because it's a free will. But if you look back, what did it really change? It helped you to get off steam and to feel better, because you had the feeling you did something. But there is a but. As the new Earth is developing, you have to shed these ideas of physically fighting against something. You just have to change your perspective and perception to a higher level. And I know it's not easy, because you're still with one foot in these 3 dimensions. But it's possible. And she ended up giving her daughter, letting her this vaccine, after she learned that her daughter already had gotten a shot at the age of 10, that she totally had forgotten. So she decided that after speaking to her, and the daughter was okay with it then, and nothing really happened, so she had no side effects. And we keep saying that you are a powerful being, you transmute everything, you have to be aware of it. And this was, even though the ingredients are not 100% okay, this is still a sort of vaccine that is not as harmful as this, what is not even a vaccine that's rolled out right now. It's a gene technology, genetic code, genetic DNAs changed. So that's not a vaccine that's right now given to people, or they're taking it.
Tell us a little bit about that vaccine we're experiencing right now. You mentioned the DNA that it's affecting. Tell us a little bit more about what it's doing, those who receive. that coding.
It's an experiment of the dark side. It's an experiment.
Mm-hmm.
They want to push the ascension further away. And they knew this. They knew this is coming. They knew that long. So they prepared, of course. And this so-called vaccine is just a test run. It has genetic markers in, as you are genetically marked. All your data is collected, so it already fulfills the purpose. It locks you into a lower vibration, which does not mean you cannot overcome it, but for those who are not aware, they cannot overcome it. But it's a test run. How far they can go. And you still comply. Because the end goal looks a little bit different. It's a society you don't really want to have. It's a kind of tyranny this Andromedan Council was warned of. So they started getting active. That's why all the ETs are here. Those who are not involved in helping humanity, they are watching. Because nobody wanted to live through this future that had its beginning in our time, on our world. Humans have to push back. You have to stand up for yourself. And she experienced how hard it is because the system is in place. And they take away things from you that are precious to you, that you feel entitled to. And that you also, is your child, your children, you want to protect them, you want to make sure they have a happy life. And so you want to keep them safe. So there are so many levels how they can get to you. But that's why it's important. Move above the ground. You have to see it from a highest perspective. And for those of you who can't, they have to be they have to see, you have to make them see that it is their right, their human right on this earth to say what to do with their own body. If they still decide to go along, that's their right to do. You have to respect that as well. But know this, the dark side needs a certain percentage. It really comes down to mathematics. People who comply. And they need a much higher percentage. The darkness needs 98 at least percent to be able to continue the game. The light doesn't need as many. Because light is stronger. Always is. Remember, you enter a dark room. You switch on one single light bulb. And the room is light. Do not comply. If you decide something, decide it because you decided it, and you were not coerced or forced. If you think and you believe it is beneficial for your health to do certain things, you have to do them. But that requires sovereignty, to know yourself, to know your body. And you gave that up a long time. You let doctors, or sometimes not even doctors, tell you. A man in a white coat, that's all you need. Doesn't have to be even a medical doctor to tell you what to do with your bodies. You have to wake up to that. Again, shed all your fears. That is the step to it. If you're not afraid, you see through everything. Even if you decide, like she did after 5 weeks, she gave in and decided to let her daughter go back to school. Even if you have to do it, but stand up. Make it known, make your sentiments known.
Where do you see us from your perspective? Those who are continuing to comply with the mandates versus those who are beginning to stand up for their rights. What do you see happening around the world? Are people starting to realize the control?
That's important. If you wouldn't see it, if it wouldn't push so hard, you would still comply even more. So that's the good part. That's why darkness, I don't want to say they are not smart, they are very smart, but they had no other option because the odds are against them, so to speak. They had to roll it out all at once. It's like the last salve that they have in your machete or whatever. No, not machete, musket, whatever you fight with. I don't know why I get this old picture. It's really, it seems so old and outdated, but they're giving their last shot all at once. They know that otherwise there's no time for them. They believe also in time. It's funny, but they have to. That's why they're playing the game with you together. So it's the last shot. You just hold on a little and you stand up. Once you stand up, you realize this is a tiger without teeth. This is a toothless tiger there. You thought it's roaring and showing its teeth. No. You have to stand up. And the more of you stand up, of course, the easier, again, it's the same story. The easier it is. You have strength in community. You have to remember that again. And also with those who complied. Don't be angry at them that they complied. And that was a good lesson for her too, that she sees, because she never complied in her life. It's the first. That's why she was really down. Even she has to comply at times. And don't judge. They also will be swept along with you who stand up. They might not know what hit them or which wave, but they will also be swept along into a better life. They cannot take it if it's too much. They will exit. They will leave the planet. But that's fine too. And they go somewhere else where they can play their game a little longer till they understand. It will, what they had in mind for you will not happen on this planet. This is not allowed. It was too much. This is not about duality anymore. This was too much darkness. This was an imbalance. We bring it. It will be brought it back in balance. So you will live in duality for quite some time, even on this new earth. But nothing to that extreme that you experienced. There will always be people, not always, but there will for quite some time be people who don't choose the path of light, who will be tricksters, you know, who will get on who will trigger you too, and who will maybe steal from you, whatever they might do. Because this is the contrast which makes you learn and expand and actually act more out of a place of love. And it will be easier then to act out of a place of love than it is now. Because what you call crimes, they will not be so horrendous like they have been. It's very hard to stay centered and not judge with things that will come to the surface. Many of you know about it, but not the majority of people. But they will come to the surface. And it will be very difficult. And it's your energy needed then who calls for calmness and not severe punishments. This is not the time anymore. These are gone, these times. But a little bit of this, what had happened here, has to come out to open even more eyes and wake people even more up. But it will get easier and easier, and eventually this planet will leave even fifth dimension and go higher. It will be a wonderful. Humans will be the teachers of other races. It will be wonderful. You learn so much.
So there's many things that go around that we hear. We know we're gradually shifting, we're moving to these higher frequencies and higher dimensions, but there are many that feel that there's the possibility of a flash or some big burst of energy that's going to come through maybe to assist in the shift. Is that something that we should continue to focus on or think about, or do you see this being a continual, gradual process?
Your sun is always giving out solar flashes. Okay, so that's nothing new. So whenever you hear the message of a solar flash, it's from the dark side. They want to throw you off and they want to fear, you know. So the earth is just racing through space, even though we said there is no space, but there is space here, racing through a place where there is very high, there are pockets of high energy. Science calls them, I'm sure they have a certain name for that. I'm sure you can Google it. It's called the photonic belt or something like that. Mm-hmm. But you can see it from a spiritual perspective. You can see it from a scientific. In your world, this is still separate. Your science will really move forward and upwards once they can combine science and spirituality. Mm-hmm. From a spiritual level, you can say God planted this there because, of course, he knew the earth will go through that at this exact time when humans, ready or not, but more ready than not. So science says it's just energy pockets that are there miraculously. They cannot explain. So this helps tremendously. It just pushes the darkness out. That's all it does in the end. And of course, by doing that, it goes through your bodies as well. and pushes the darkness out of your body as well. And those of us who already worked on their shadows, less darkness will be pushed out, which means it will be easier for the body to take in all that light. For those people who are not even aware of their shadows or don't believe in it or whatever, it will be very, very hard because their bodies will collapse. That's why it's so important at this time that there are many light workers and healers there who offer all these services and make people aware. I mean, if you see it, more and more people coming forth, healers of whatever kind, whether you work with energies or light, which is always energy also, colors, which is also energy, but whatever you say to it,
Mm-hmm.
more and more people offer their services. 10 years ago, this was not there, or 15 years ago, this was just not there. This was a circle of few. So this is also important because more and more people can get help, and they will not look for help at a medical doctor anymore. Not for these kind of things, because they already went through the system and got only sicker most of the times. They will turn to other healing modalities, and then they will learn about these things. And then all spirit teams are working 24/7 and overtime, you would say, to wake the proteges up. They want to wake them up. And some people will find the inner motivation to look at certain things they did not look at their whole lifetime. You all know what you have in your drawers hidden. Sometimes it's so hidden that you forgot, it's true. But you hear the drawers rattling from time to time, so it's time to look at them right now, to open it. And you will find that it was not so scary, that your imagination made it so scary. So it's very important. Otherwise, these energies will make you look at it, and then it's not as pleasant and as gentle as it is when you do it yourself. That we can say.
Very good. Thank you for that. Daniela would like to know, is there any spiritual gifts that she should focus on or begin to develop at this point in time?
She should continue meditating. She has to set up a really routine. She does it on and off. She feels, I'm connected already, I don't need it. Yeah, you do. You do. She will get the gifts gradually, all at once, but gradually. So it's not overwhelming. I know she's complaining again that she does not see anything, she doesn't hear anything. She, even though she knows it's there, she doesn't see it, she does not experience it. That's why we gave her this past lifetime, that she could experience it, how that feels. She also learned how to see, because she expected to see like a movie in front of her with all in color and all movies, and that's for her seeing. But she forgets she has her eyes closed, so she's not using those eyes to see. And with this past life of Queen Victoria we gave her, she learned how to see with her inner eye. It's a knowing before it is an experience. And then she saw. She did not see it in multicolor like in a movie, but she saw exactly. She saw the room, she saw what she was wearing, she saw the horse, she saw everything. But it was a different kind of seeing, and she still marvels at this memory. That this is also called seeing, but there's actually not a word for it in your language. And seeing with your inner eye. It's a different quality. It's a package It's more like a package. It's all at once. It's a knowing, it's an experience, it's a seeing. It involves all senses you have on earth and some more. Yeah. That's why I think a lot of people are disappointed when they have their first hypnosis session. They cannot see anything because they expect to see like a movie. It's not like that.
Very good. So, are there any final messages that you'd like to bring forward today for anyone who listens to this recording later? Anything important that we need to know about where we are, where we're headed? Anything you'd like to share?
I know you rely on these messages so much. And I understand, because it's difficult, to say the least, to be in this dimension. However, try to listen more inside yourself. I know we keep repeating ourselves, but that must be the answer then, isn't it? We say it so often, so try to accept it. You can always, in a moment of doubt, in a moment when you feel low, listen to uplifting messages, or listen to a song that makes you smile and dance. That's much better than listening to any doomsday stories that the event is coming. It will come, and it will not be as scary as you anticipate it as now. So if I tell you now there is this event coming, you already start panicking. My God, what should we prepare? Because this is how you were programmed for so long. You cannot help it. You cannot help it but feel that way. So understand there is no judgment from our side. That's why we are reluctant to even give you dates or events. Because when you are in sync with yourself, and in sync with yourself doesn't mean you have to sit in meditation for hours. We just want her to do that. No kidding. Not hours, but routine. No, but do what makes you feel good. It's so easy, and I know you don't want to hear it. You want to have a complicated solution to a simple thing. That's what you did. You were lost for millennia because you were so glad you could develop your brain, and it's by this supercomputer there, and let's complicate everything. Great. But you have to see that you complicated. And you have to see where it started. It started very simple. You can be complicated, revel in it, play with it, do your acrobatic with your brains. It's wonderful, and it pushed you forward. Not everything, remember, came from your brains. You had a lot of help from, even if you don't want to hear that, from ETs and from us, also in your technology. So not everything came out of your brains, but train them. My goodness, it's part of your body. It is a muscle that needs training as well. It's important, but trust your emotions and not fear, not panic. I don't speak of those emotions. This is an emotion that you are done with. You don't need that anymore. You don't live in an environment, most of you, where you have to really run away from a wild tiger. Relax. Do what you can still, even if you are not allowed to go in restaurants and eat there because you're not vaccinated, there's so many other things. You can still go in nature. You can still sit on the beach. You can still meet friends who are like-minded. Come together at home. Make cookouts at home. Organize things. Find someone. I'm sure there are also people out there who have bigger meeting places. who are not buying into this narrative, who allow you, who don't ask you whether you're vaccinated. Come together there and start something. Come together in a sense of community. Don't talk and gossip about those who complied, who did not stand up, who took the jab for whatever reason. You don't know why they took it, why they felt they had to. You cannot judge them. You have to invite them too. They have to be part of the community. Remember that. And relax. Take nothing as serious. If you want to prepare, then get your food storage up. But I don't say you have to. It's, if it makes you feel calmer, please do it. But you don't have to. You will know when you're connected. You will know what to do. You will know what to do. And then you go with it and you trust it 100%, 1000% in your case. Trust it. Trust yourselves.
Thank you so much. That information, I know we hear it so much. We're told the same thing so much, but sometimes we just need it drilled in a little bit deeper, don't we?
I know. It's okay.
Thank you for sharing that information. I'm so grateful to have spent this time speaking with you today. Any other final messages today, or are we complete?
We wanted to thank you for your service. It means a lot to Daniela. I know that. We know that. And yeah, we wanted to thank you. And your guides are very proud of you. But you know that.
Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that so much. It's been an absolute joy and pleasure today to listen to this information, and I know it's going to benefit so many. So thank you.
You're welcome.